It's been a long road.
Hello everyone, welcome back for another Star Trek, the official Starships collection review. I have in front of me something that is rather long overdue, or rather that has been long overdue. I finally have in my hands, or as you can see here, issue number 89 from many months ago. Well, that I should have gotten many months ago, but I didn't because it was out of stock on the web shop and of course through subscribers. So at last, here it is, thanks to a generous and wonderful friend. That would be the Trek collector Chris T. Judge over in Ireland, my good friend. He was able to get this for me and I am so grateful for that. So thank you, Chris, if you're watching. And so yes, here it is, the USS Enterprise NCC-1701-J, as seen briefly on Star Trek Enterprise. So of course, here's the magazine and have the ship. So I'll put it aside for just a minute while I show you what's inside. So right off the bat, you'll notice the imagery on the cover. It's pretty cool looking, very futuristic looking. Scientifically, it makes no sense, but it looks great on the cover. And let's see, it is considered universe class, launched in the 26th century, operated by the United Federation of Planets, of course, and it's 3,219 meters long, probably bigger than anything we've ever seen. Turn the page, and of course, the magazine follows the basic layout as all the other magazines, stand mounting guide, etc., and with some basic spec information, or at least what is known. It's considered a multi-mission explorer operated by the Federation, of course, in the 26th century. Again, 3,618 meters long. Its crew complement and its weaponry are unknown, probably because they were never referenced or mentioned in the few seconds that we saw it. Turn the page and you have another awesome image of the futuristic Enterprise J there, which is similar to this but not quite, as well as some brief text about it. And here is the centerfold page showing you, well, not really much. There are no, unlike other magazines, there are no identifying marks saying where the components are, because that was never mentioned or discussed or seen on a readout on screen, on the show that is. There's some text here, but that's about it. And here's a section on the design process of the Enterprise J, which was rather interesting, but from what I read, it seems like they basically just wanted to come up with something outrageous so that it would look futuristic. And for the most part, I think they pulled that off rather nicely. And more on the design process there, and more on that, as well as various images seen in the Star Trek The Ships of the Line calendar. And more. Great images. It's really too bad we didn't see these shots in action, like as in moving on the screen. Actually, the only appearance of the ship that was ever, well, the only appearance of the ship at all was just a background LCARS, futuristic LCARS readout, giving you a basic clue of what the ship looked like. We never saw it actually in space. We never actually saw it cruising through space or anything like that, or any physical models or anything on someone's desk. No, it was just one shot, which I'm pretty sure is in this magazine someplace. And here is a section on Mr. Doug Drexler himself, one of the many visual effects / model makers, model designers, etc., etc. And here's the on-screen appearance page. It's only appeared in one episode, barely, the episode Azatsi Prime from Star Trek Enterprise in Season 3. And pretty much that screen cap right there is the only time we've ever seen the ship. That's it. That is all you see of the Enterprise J. So you don't see any crew members, you don't see any uniforms, you don't see any weaponry, nothing. You just see that and basically him looking out of a window. That's about it. So yeah, And of course, I've already done issue 90, so I don't have to worry about that. So turn the back page, and that is the ship on the back of the magazine. So yeah, pretty interesting magazine there. So now let's get to the ship itself. All right, so here is the ship finally in front of me, and it looks pretty awesome inside the box. You know, as I mentioned earlier, my friend Chris sent this to me from Ireland because it was at the time unavailable on the web shop here in the States. And oddly enough and surprisingly, it survived the entire journey through their postal process, through the United States postal process, and everything looking at it in here from the box appears to be intact. So that's good news. So yeah, let's open this thing up. All right. And my first impression is it's pretty strange. It's a pretty odd, very weird looking design. We can kind of assume or guess where the components are based on the design of other Federation ships, but this is the most futuristic thing we've ever gotten. And if you look really closely, you can see the registry there, which simply says microscopically USS Enterprise NCC-1701. And strangely enough, you don't see a J on there. And in fact, the magazine mentions that slight discrepancy because apparently, I guess there was some, I wouldn't say an issue, but I guess that had something to do with them just honoring the legacy of the original Enterprise or something like that, or the lineage of the Enterprise. Who knows? I probably have that wrong, so feel free to correct me down in the comment section. But this is pretty cool. The nacelles are so thin, and you have the clear plastic there, which you have to be very fragile because it looks like these things could snap off or break off with just the slightest like drop or something. This thing could be in pieces really easily. You got your red Bussard collectors, and I'm guessing you have a shuttle bay somewhere right there, impulse reactors, your bridge up there. You got what looks like your navigational deflector up here, which is kind of similar to the NX class. And I think you can flip it upside down. It actually looks kind of cool this way too. Yeah, it's a very alien looking design, but somehow very Starfleet at the same time. And yeah, it's a pretty cool ship. I'm glad we got it in the collection. Yeah, unfortunately, there's just not much to say. I can finally say that we have pretty much all the Enterprises that we've seen. So now, unfortunately, we have to fill in the gaps between Enterprises E all the way through pretty much I. So, yeah, that is the ship. Looks cool. If you're a fan of all the Enterprises, or if you plan on picking up all the Enterprises, I would definitely pick that up. It's worth it. Even if you don't like Star Trek Enterprise, it's worth having in your collection nonetheless, because it just follows the lineage of the ship, of all ships named Enterprise, I guess. And of course, it comes with a stand that says USS Enterprise NCC-1701-J. And I would highly recommend this model. Of course, to be honest, it's not my favorite of the Enterprises, whether the ship itself or the model. But it's still cool, as you can see here. And this definitely is one of the more unusual ships in the collection. So yeah. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop me a line somewhere down in the comment section. I'd really appreciate that. And again, special thanks to my good buddy Chris T. Judge, also known as the Trek Collector over there in Ireland, for hooking me up with this awesome gift. And I'm so grateful to him for that. And for the rest of you, live long and prosper, be safe out there, and have a good holiday season. Bye-bye.